All right, so my goal for today is to help you. This is the same kind of material that we went over on our quiz, and it's the same material that will be on your test tomorrow, okay? So here we go, first question. You're determining whether or not the conclusion is valid or not valid. Once again, you must show work for a problem like this. You want to determine how many people like Rice Krispies as their favorite cereal. You randomly ask 105 students. 15 of them say that Rice Krispies is their favorite, and 90 prefer other cereals. The results claim that 10% of the people like Rice Krispies the best. You first have to figure out what you're looking for. This says the result claims that 10% of the people like Rice Krispies the best. How many people out of this survey or sample like Rice Krispies the best? 15. Look, it says 15 of them say that Rice Krispies is their favorite, that they like it the best. So that's 15 out of how many people did they ask? 105. You randomly ask 105 students. Okay? So listen, people are making silly mistakes. You've got to look carefully to see what it is that you're looking for. We're looking for favorable over total. 15 favorable people liked Rice Krispies out of the 105 that were asked. When you do this, once again, you must show work on your test tomorrow. This is, if I rounded to the nearest whole, 14%. This says the results claim that 10% like Rice Krispies the best. Guys, is this valid or not valid? Not valid. It is not valid. All right, so for this one, guys, you are going to tell me which sample is better for making an estimate. You're trying to estimate the number of 7th graders in your school with an iPhone. The key thing is check to see who it is that we are trying to get information about, okay? So we're trying to figure out which one's better. A random sample of 25 7th graders, okay? It's good that it's random. 25 is a good number to ask. Or a random sample of 25 students in the hallway at school. Which one do you guys think is better? A. Why is it better than B?
Because it could be 12th graders and 10th graders.
You're right. In the hallway, it could be any age level, okay? It could be 8th graders, 10th graders, 12th graders. We only want to know 7th graders, so sample A is the better choice. Okay, so listen, tomorrow on your test, there is going to be a vocabulary section, and it's going to look like this. A blank sample is not representative of population. We talked about two kinds of samples, biased and unbiased. Which one of these is not representative of a population, class? Biased sample, okay? It's not representative because one or more parts are favored, okay? So once again, please study in your review notes the vocab section. Determine if this sample is biased or unbiased. Guys, remind me, which one is the good one, biased or unbiased? Unbiased. Unbiased. So this is what it says. You want to estimate the number of students in your school who enjoy running. You survey the first 20 students who arrive to cross-country practice. What do you think? Why is that biased?
Because that's favoring.
Okay, it is favoring something because you went and you asked a bunch of people who willingly chose to be on a running team. That's what cross-country is, okay? So, of course, those people are going to say, yeah, I like running. But maybe the rest of the school doesn't, okay? So this is 100% a biased sample. All right, I saw a lot of really good answers as I just checked. You deposit $500 in a savings account. Over 2 years' time, you make $17 in interest. What is the annual interest rate? Okay, so we've got to figure out I, P, R, and T. What's my interest?
17.
17. What's my principal?
500.
What's my rate?
0. Question mark.
You don't know. And how much time? 2. Here's where a lot of people made mistakes in the past. You have to make sure you're plugging in. First, drop down that equal sign. What is my I? I'm filling in for the I. 17. Okay, then that's the main thing. Just make sure you're plugging it into the right spots. Times R times 2. Notice I can do this on the right-hand side. So, guys, what's 500 times 2? 1,000. So I've got 1,000 R. Get that R by itself, and all you have to do is divide by 1,000. R equals 0.017, and rate always has to be a percent. So what's the answer? 1.7%. All right, so for this problem, you've got a data set here, and you are trying to find the mean number of students. All right, guys, whenever you have something like this, you've got to add all the numbers together, okay? So we're adding each one in our data set and dividing by what? 5, because there were 5 numbers in the data set. When I added it up, I get 690 divided by 5 equals. A lot of you put 138, which is partially correct, but you have to have the units attached. All right, so listen, this one, guys, it's asking you for the center and the variation. If you would, on your boards, go ahead and write center and variation so I know which one you got. What is the first thing you're supposed to do with a data set? Put it in order from least to greatest. For those of you who did not put it in order, you sadly got the wrong answer, okay? That's why I say always put it in order from least to greatest. Okay, guys, what is the center? 120. Okay, a lot of you circled 150 up here because you forgot to put it in order from least to greatest, so that would have been a wrong answer. So the center is 120, and remember how I mentioned you must have units attached. Now, how do I find the variation?
Subtracting the highest number from the lowest.
Okay, highest number minus the lowest number, and you still also on this one will get 120 students. Okay, so that is how you find the center and the variation. All right, so like I said before, a bunch of vocab is going to be on the test. What is the difference between the highest and the lowest numbers in a data set called? That is the range. For number 9, it's asking you the measures of variation. What does variation mean?
The difference between the highest and the lowest number.
It's basically finding the range, okay? So listen. A lot of people on their quiz were trying to take the biggest one on the edge of the whisker and subtract that. That's not correct. If you remember, you have to take it from the upper quartile and then subtract the what? The lower quartile. So for the first one, it would be 80 minus 30, which is what? Okay, so for A, it should have been 50. B, what work should I write? 100 minus 80, so what's the measure of variation? 20. All right, guys, listen, this question was different. It asks for the measure of center. What's another word for center? Median. We're just looking for the middle number. So, guys, what's the middle number of A? 60. And how about B? 90. All right, so finding a measure of center is simply finding the number in the center of the box. All right, so for this modeling real life problem, a store owner wants to know how many of her 315 regular customers prefer white bread over wheat bread. The cashier randomly asks 45 of the regular customers. 15 say that they prefer wheat bread, and 30 say they prefer white bread. Estimate the number of customers who prefer white bread. The first thing you need to do for a problem like this is figure out what we're looking for, okay? This says estimate the number of customers who what? Prefer white bread. This is where I just looked around and saw a lot of you made a mistake on this. Guys, who up here in my original problem prefers white bread? 30 say they prefer white bread. So here's what you're doing. Favorable over total equals n over the population. Guys, how many people are favorable for white bread? Out of how many people did we ask? Okay, we asked 45 equals n over what's the population? How many of you guys did mental math? All right, what's the missing link?
7.
Okay, so you got to multiply times 7 on top and bottom. You could have also done cross products if you wanted, but this way was a little faster. What's 30 times 7?
210.
210. Don't forget units attached. 210 customers. This is a review problem. It says solve the inequality and graph the solution. Remember, this is like a two-step solution, okay? Or two-step problem. These guys are best friends. Keep them together as long as possible. So we're going to add 6 to both sides. This cancels out. What is negative 10 plus 6? Okay, so most of you got this part, but this is where people started making mistakes. How do I get x by itself?
You gotta divide by 2.
Divide by 2. Listen, the last thing I'm doing is dividing by a positive number. Do I need to switch the symbol?
No.
No. Only if this number right here would have been negative, then I would flip the symbol. A lot of people flip their symbol. You don't want to flip it, okay? So instead, x is greater than or equal to -2. How many numbers are going to be on my number line? 3. What number goes in the center?
-2.
What is one smaller than -2? Guys, if your desk doesn't look like this, you need to erase it and fix it, please. Make yours look like mine. To the right is -1. Open or close circle? It is closed. Which direction should my arrow go? All solutions are greater than -2. All right, so listen. Like I said before, there will be a not large, but there will be a section of vocab words on there. What is a part of a population? A sample is a part of a population, okay? So this right here, what we went over today, that will help you to do well in your test tomorrow. Use your notes. Go over any other previous YouTube videos to help you. But please do some kind of studying before your test tomorrow.